So hello and welcome to Armenia. Yes, so this is not reporting from Jerusalem, and also, by the way, I'm not live. I know this is recorded. Hey, come here. This is our new friend here. Armenia has a thing with wild dogs, and this one, and they're all friendly, by the way, wild yet friendly. So yeah, so anyway, I didn't even dare try to do a live, as much as you all deserve to see this view. And let me turn it this way as well. I mean, can you believe this? Can you believe it? Like, I mean, amazing. Here, this is the Lori province, and it's like northern Armenia, about couple miles south of the border with Georgia. And a lot of these places are just uninhabited. I mean, at night, once the sun fully sets, which it sets early, by the way, it sets like by 7:30, I think 7:30, something like that. I mean, the mountains are like black. Like there's a couple of spots of light here and there, but it's generally just uninhabited and amazing and like shocking. And the air up here is just so amazing. It's just like vacuous. Like it's just airy and light and clean. You can totally feel it's clean. But anyway, there's the other thing that there is none of, in addition to no pollution up here on this mountain. There is no internet service either. So I haven't dared to do a live for a couple days. I mean, you can barely even send WhatsApp messages. So, and then also trying to work or anything, trying to upload, trying to download, trying to just, even watching Netflix last night, the Netflix went out. So forget the lives. I don't know. If Chuck Holton does this from here, I don't know how he does it. I'm going to actually ask him about that. So we're looking into this place. And then Chuck Holton, if you don't know who he is, check out the Hot Zone. Is it the Hot Zone? The Hot Zone with Chuck Holton. And he's a war correspondent who reports for, oh wow, our dog is going down this cliff. Oh my God, I hope she's smart. So we were talking, like looking into this place, and then talking to Chuck about Armenia. He said, oh, you should stay at the Keflion family hotel. And we're like, are you serious? That's what we're looking into? I mean, how random, considering if you look around, it's pretty random to find a place here. And I guess it's less random than it feels like when you're searching online from thousands of miles away. But very amazing place. The internet, not so great, but the internet is not great anywhere, I think, in the country from what I remember. We'll see what happens in Yerevan. But, I definitely have been following the news going on back in Israel. And I know that over the last, my God, this dog is right on the edge of the cliff. In the last day, there have been like huge barrages of rocket fire at the north. I think I don't remember if the time since I have done these that anybody was killed or injured, but they're definitely getting through the Iron Dome as well, and there are drones and rockets that are landing. So that's been increasing. Now, I don't know if this is the moment that everybody's been waiting for when we talk about the still waiting, and we're not necessarily, I don't know if we're still in the still waiting phase. I knew we were waiting till after Anthony Blinken from the U.S. Secretary of State was visiting Israel on Monday. So I knew we were going to make it out on our Sunday flight because nobody would do anything before then. So since then, he left, and I guess it got a little more hectic. Now, if you also recall, last week there was a lot of talk about a possible hostage deal. And then Hamas said, no, we totally don't agree to the conditions. Of course, they then, it was a back and forth blaming Israel blaming Hamas for setting impossible conditions for this. So it would have been a hostage release / ceasefire. So that has not transpired, and the hopes of that happening have sunk pretty low at this point. Now, the other thing is there was yesterday an operation which the Israeli army in Gaza, they recovered bodies of 6 hostages. They knew conclusively already that 5 of the 6 had been killed at some point. They were all alive when they got to Gaza, and they had confirmation of deaths of 6 of them. But there was one more body they found that they confirmed the death of this man. I think he was in his 70s or 80s. It was just so. Anyway, there were a lot of burials that happened. Then on the Gaza side, I believe there were a couple attacks on civilian centers where the IDF said that Hamas was operating from, whether it was UN camps or schools. I don't remember what the last thing, Salahadin, if it was a school or a hospital. And they, so there were probably civilian deaths there. And then the IDF said that they said Hamas was operating from there, and that's where they struck it. So anyway, there's the typical. This is going on back and forth. Now, as far as Armenia is concerned, it was about almost a year ago. No, it was almost a year ago. Let's say it was the end of September when the full invasion of Artsakh or Nagorno-Karabakh occurred. But before that, there had been, was it 9 months? 9-month blockade. It started in December of 22, and it went until, of course, everybody was forced out. Over 100,000 residents of Artsakh, which was, they're Armenian, and was land that Azerbaijan claimed as theirs. And so they put a blockade. Nobody internationally stopped it. Everybody condemned it, but nobody stopped it. Russia didn't stop it. Russia was supposed to be like the negotiating peacekeepers there, and Russia didn't do much about it. At the end, in the last couple of months, the Red Cross couldn't even get in, and no medication was getting in and out. Surgeries weren't happening. There was no fuel. But when the invasion began, people just fled, and there were like a line of cars for days that fled from Artsakh into Armenia. There was only this small corridor. It's called the Lachin corridor, and it's just this small bit of land, and it's kind of in the south, like way south of where we are now. And anyway, that the people were coming through there. It took days for everybody to get through, and they're just coming in with cars only with what they had, could fit in their cars. So that's something I'll find out more about when I get to Yerevan and speak to a few people there. But something else is so it had been peaceful. By the way, in case you were concerned about the dog who walked along the side of the cliff, she has now come up on the other side and is heading back this way safely. Unbelievable. Okay, so the other thing I was going to say was that as we were preparing to come, and I was thinking, things are quiet here, because there's always a little back and forth with Azerbaijan and Armenia. And Armenia has it's like the bottom, it kind of funnels at the bottom, and it's between Azerbaijan and Turkey, and the southern border is Iran. And Azerbaijan wants to put a highway from their land across Armenia to the Nakhchivan, I don't know how to say it, small corridor, and then it's Turkey, and they want to be able to access that directly. But Armenia does not want Azerbaijan to have a highway there, and Iran actually doesn't want Azerbaijan to have a highway there. So it always creates tension on that border. But what they want to do, that's always in negotiations. But so then there's threatening, of course, and here too you have the wars and rumors of wars like you do also in the Middle East. But the day we were leaving, or the day before, I think it was the day before we were leaving for here, I read somewhere that Azerbaijan said that Armenian servicemen fired at their positions, And so, you know, and then Armenia said, no, the allegations do not correspond with reality. So I was like, oh, okay, what does this mean? Are they setting up for another reason to attack? Like, is this what's happening? So I don't know. But anyway, that is what's happening now. That happened twice in the last couple of days. So I'm going to be speaking with people. I can't wait to speak with like Jacob Persley. I'll meet him, and maybe I'll meet others in Yerevan and talk about the current situation over here. This place, by the way, I know a lot of people think that, you know, you're watching my stuff because I'm reporting usually from Jerusalem, but I have to say, this land is also really compelling. You know, this is the birthplace, it's not the birthplace, you can argue the birthplace of Christianity. It is the first nation that declared Christianity its national religion. And honestly, when you walk around here, you feel like it's an open air museum. I mean, there's monasteries open to the public everywhere. There's crosses on the side of the road. There's chachkars, which are engraved crosses in stone on the side of the road, everywhere. And it's just an amazing place. It feels like it was many places like this that were just kind of left back in time. And it just brings you back. So of course it'll be a different scene tomorrow when we go to Yerevan, but I just wanted to give you a glimpse of this because I feel guilty for keeping it all to myself and not really posting. But like I said, it's been rough with the internet. But here you go. Here is some of the view. And oh, it's a shame you can't see further back over there. I mean, it's amazing. This part over here, this road, it just goes around like on a plateau. We're on a plateau. Like it juts out into a plateau over here. I mean, this goes up to a mountain. There's a monastery right up there. You could walk up there. You could die walking up there. It's like straight up and whatever, but it's great. It's worth it. But there are plateaus out there and you can just like walk with the kids and then they could just like, don't kick your soccer ball down the mountain cliff. It's a cliff. It's so scary. Anyway, it's just wonderful. Anyway, the kids are very upset because I have the tripod right now. So I'm going to keep this brief for their sake, keep peace. And I believe I need to go get an adult beverage, sit here with my feet up and enjoy my last sunset here in the mountains of the Lori province of Armenia. So on that note, thanks for tuning in. I'll read your comments when I have internet and I appreciate it. Bye everybody.